In this video, we're going to talk about the law of sines. I'm given a triangle ABC. The capital letters denote the angle, measures of angles, and the lowercase letters denote the side length. As with all the other triangles we're going to look at, this one is not drawn to scale. We're going to use the law of sines when we don't have a right angle. Notice neither A nor B nor C are right angles. The way this is set up is the side length, in this case A, divided by the sine of the opposite angle, in this case capital A, is the same as side B divided by the sine of the opposite angle, is the same as side C divided by the sine of the opposite angle. And with applications, we're going to only use like 2 out of the 3 of those. So A over sine of A is the same as B over sine of B, which is the same as side C over the sine of C. And that's the law of sines. So let's look at an application. In example 1, we want to find the value of side A. Notice A over the sine of 80 should be the same as 5 over the sine of 65. I want to find the side that I know. So in this case, I know one of the sides is 5 centimeters long, and I know the opposite angle is 65 degrees. I'm given 80 degrees and I want to find A, so A over sine of 80 is 5 over sine of 65. I'm going to cross multiply, so A times the sine of 65 is 5 times the sine of 80. Now, I don't want to simplify anything yet. I want to get A by itself, so divide both sides by the sine of 65, and that's what I want to plug in Desmos. I want to plug 5 times the sine of 80 divided by the sine of 65. And that's my A. Now Desmos is going to give me an answer, so 5.433. And don't forget the units. In this case, the units is centimeters. Units are centimeters. In the second example, I want to find the measure or the length of side B. Again, I'm going to start with 5 divided by the sine of 65. And B, I don't have that other angle. I don't have the angle opposite of B. But what I do know is that 3 angles in a triangle all add up to 180. So I can find the measure of the angle opposite side B. Now I can set up my proportion. B over the sine of 65 is the same as 5 over the sine of 65. B over the sine of 35, sorry, is the same as 5 over the sine of 65. Now, I did find that the side opposite the angle that's 80 degrees long is 5.433, but that's rounded, and unless I don't have to, I would rather avoid any kind of rounded answer. I would rather go with the exact ones. So 5 and 65 are the ones that I would pick. Cross multiply, isolate B by itself, plug that into Desmos or your calculator, and we end up B being 3.164. Now, is that a reasonable answer? Notice that the longest side is opposite the greatest angle. So 5.433 is the longest side, and it's opposite the angle that's 80 degrees. The next longest side is the one that's 5 centimeters, and that's opposite the angle that's 65 degrees. And B is the shortest side, and it's opposite the smallest angle. So all of this is reasonable. For the third example, I want to find the measure of angle theta. Again, 5 over sine of 70. I've got my pair of side and angle, and that is going to be equal to 4.5 divided by the sine of theta. I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get sine of theta by itself, dividing both sides by 5. So sine of theta is 4.5 times the sine of 70 divided by 5. And now to get theta by itself, I just take the inverse sine of both sides. So I take the inverse sine of that. Now I've got an exact answer. I'm going to plug that into Desmos, and you want to make sure that you're in degree mode. And I have theta is 57.75 degrees. So don't round your answers until the very last step when you have to, and you're done with that one. So last one, example 4, I want to solve for x. Once again, 5 and sine of 70. I've got my side angle pair. And x, there's no angle there, but I know two of the angles already, so I can just subtract both of them from 180 to get the one that's opposite side x. In this case, 52.25 degrees. And there it is. Now I can set up my proportion. Once my proportion is set up, it's pretty straightforward. I cross multiply, divide both sides by sine of 70 to get x by itself, plug that into the calculator, and you're done. So that's the law of sines. It's pretty straightforward. Find an angle and its opposite side, set up a proportion, cross multiply, and evaluate.